Oh, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I was just admiring this fine graph at the bottom of page 79. Well, we shall now continue to page 80, in which we discuss this illustration of the electromagnetic spectrum. For instance, look at the illustration of the electromagnetic spectrum. The section that we can see with our eyes we call the color range. There are basically 6 colors of the rainbow: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet. The spectrum goes beyond that in both directions forever. On the red side of the scale, it goes down to infrared. You and I cannot see infrared with our eyes. That does not mean that it doesn't exist. It just means that we cannot see it. The spectrum goes beyond violet to ultraviolet. We cannot see ultraviolet. We have a limited receptor, our eye. It is able to pick up just this brief range of colors from red to violet. Suppose that God decided to give us eyes that would be able to see the entire magnetic spectrum. We could then see radio waves, radar, television, or microwaves. I don't mean pick them up with an instrument. I mean actually see them with our eye. I don't know if that is going to happen or not, but it could be that in heaven there will be brand new colors. I don't mean brand new shades or combinations of these colors that we are used to. I mean brand new colors. If I went to heaven for 5 minutes and saw brand new colors, and came back down to earth, and he said, "Kent, where have you been?" I would say, "Well, I've been to heaven for 5 minutes." And he would say, "What's it like?" And I would say, "I just can't explain it to you." You would think something was wrong, just like I'm sure people thought Paul was crazy after he came down from heaven and said, quote, "I saw things that it's not lawful for a man to utter," end quote. We need to get a new set of eyes and a new set of ears. We need new sensory organs if we are to understand everything that God has for us. God has given us a very limited capacities down here on earth. We can understand and see a few things, but God is no means limited by our 5 senses and their limited range. As I was thinking on this subject, I wrote a poem to try to explain this, comparing blind men and atheists. Two blind men argued well into the night about the great question, "Is there really sight?" Said one to the other, and quite fervently, "There cannot be colors, or else we could see. So take red and green and blue off the list. If I can see them, they must no exist." A crazy man told me the sky is bright blue. I listened intently, but I caught no clue of anything out there to alter my mind. I'm not deaf, you know, I hear perfectly fine. Be quiet and listen, and then you will know that colors aren't real. How dare they say so? They tell me that grass is some sort of green. It looks just like the rest of the world that I've seen. It tastes a lot different than jelly or cheese. If I smell it too long, it sure makes me sneeze. It feels a lot different than ice cream or snow, but to say that it's green, I'd have to say no. I will not believe it until I have seen. There isn't a difference twixt red, blue, or green. And so the men argued with all of their might, and I couldn't show them that they were not right. They cannot see colors because they're blind, but I couldn't get this truth in their mind. Until they are given the great gift of sight, never, not ever, will they see the light. Two atheists argued, on university sod, about the great question, "Is there a God?" Said one to the other, and quite fervently, "There can't be a God, or else we could see. So take that old Bible and God off the list. If I cannot see him, he must no exist. Be quiet and listen, and then you will know that God is not real. How dare they say so?" A crazy man told me that God lives up in heaven. I used to believe that when I was just 7, but now that I'm older and wiser, you see, I will not believe it. You can't prove it to me. I cannot sense God with sight, taste, or smell. I do not believe in heaven or hell. I've never heard God or felt him at all. If he's really up there, I wish he would call. I said, "Listen, fellows, you're spiritually blind. You've only 5 entrances into your mind. That limits your input. I wish you could see. You can't fathom God or eternity. There are lots of things that really are real. It doesn't disprove God because you can't feel. So you two can argue the rest of the night. There's no way to show that you are not right. When you get to heaven, or hell if you please, You'll understand God as you fall on your knees. I wish you could see him or hear him somehow, but that isn't possible where you are now. To deny his existence is really absurd. You'll have to believe him and trust in his word. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the way I see it. We have to admit that a faith in God exists because we are limited in our senses. A blind person believes that by faith there are colors. He has never seen them, but he believes by faith they exist because everyone has told him about them. I believe by faith there is a God. I believe there is no time in heaven. People ask, where was God before creation? How long did God wait before the Garden of Eden, before he created man? Well, you're back into the same argument. God didn't wait any time at all. There wasn't any time, and I can't explain it other than to say that's the way it is. I've been explained like this. Once upon a time, there was a time where there was no time. God didn't wait a long time before creating Adam and Eve. He started time when he created the earth. To answer the question, what did God do for billions of years? There weren't billions of years before or after the creation. After this is over, we will go back to a different dimension, beyond our current capacity to understand, called eternity. When we return, back to the question, how old is the earth?